I am a young person, and I'm also a cradle Unitarian. I grew up Unitarian Universalist, and I have a broad community of other folks who grew up Unitarian Universalist. And your concept of finding sort of the grounding for our social justice work in the here and now, it's just yes. I mean, that's sort of what I grew up with. That's what my friends sort of grew up with, and that's what resonates. I mean, I think about the youth at our church, and they found their theology. They found their theology of social justice in New Orleans, and that's what's built their community at All Souls Church, D.C.
What about the emotional culture out of which Unitarian Universalist congregations and people do social justice work? Because I think that there's something crucial about both sustainability and power, about either being emotionally authentic or emotionally absent in this work. And I think I can think of congregations where the issue of, yeah, there's a community, but the emotional culture of that community is so not supportive to the work that we need to do. That's another way of talking about culture. Anyway, I'm interested in the sort of the role of what's the Unitarian Universalist emotional universe in the arena of ritual, social justice, and what we're talking about here, community.
If we stay present to the emotions, saying this is really curious that 5 out of 7 persons who come to our congregations do not return, that we give less money than any other religious association in the country, that we make jokes about money. If we stay with the emotional issues and say this is really curious and turn our enlightened minds to it, then we'll be pushed into the areas of primal pain and know that our religious services now have to address the emotional agony, so that we will expect from our religious services more music, more meditations, more sermons that address not the mind, but the heart, the brokenness, more small group ministry in which we learn how to hear each other into speech. So, I am suggesting that if we stay the course, that means today that we have to pay attention to the emotions that we have not been attending to liturgically, because we cannot do this work alone. We were not broken alone. Human salvation is not a solo act. We must act collectively.
There are patterns of UU identity that are related to white supremacist culture, or our expressions of white supremacist culture. And white supremacist culture has very particular ways it cultivates the emotions, or shapes feeling and the senses, that are highly problematic for social justice work, and that sustain white identity as a disconnected, anesthetized identity. For Unitarian Universalist social justice work to thrive more fully, I think we have to work at disconnecting UU identity from white identity, or white supremacist culture identity. And white supremacist culture has a theological and cultural distrust of the senses and of the emotions. The simple way to say that is those of us who have been formed by white supremacist culture have to recover from the training to not feel and not see and not hear. Yay! And frankly, to not act.
In one final time of sharing, take time to tell someone else about your memory of community-based justice work and what that was like for you. Also, Rebecca Parker locates our congregational culture and history in white supremacist culture. What do you think she means by this, and does it resonate for you? What is the emotional culture of your congregation? Does it encourage or discourage risk-taking as an activist, an ally, a social justice believer?